What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the new movie, A Quiet Place Part 2. So this one, once again, follows the Abbott family as they are forced to navigate and survive in a post-apocalyptic world inhabited by blind monsters with an acute sense of hearing that will kill them as soon as they make any kind of noise. And they're trying to find a way to get rid of these aliens and stuff. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot. I don't want to ruin this movie for anybody who hasn't seen it and everything. And this has been one of the most anticipated movies for a lot of people, so I'm going to keep this review spoiler free. But you do get some new characters in here. Cillian Murphy plays Emmett, who was an old friend of Lee, the father from the first movie that died in the first movie. And then he kind of is helping Evelyn with the kids and stuff in this movie. And Shimon Hunsu is in here too, and he's really good in here. And that's all I'm really going to say about his character, because I feel like if I talk about him it would spoil the movie. But he's really good in here. He's not in it a lot though, I'll just say that much. He doesn't have a lot of screen time. He comes in there towards the end of the movie. But this was a really good sequel. I really didn't want a sequel to A Quiet Place. I felt the first one was kind of good enough that it didn't really need a sequel and everything. And then when I rewatched it the other night, and I was like, yeah, this might actually work at having a sequel. When I rewatched the first one and everything, because I had seen like the first trailer of the movie, and I was like, yeah, that might kind of work, kind of seeing where they go with this. And they did John Krasinski did a really great job with this movie, and his writing and directing was even better than it was in the first one. Maybe because he wasn't the star of the movie either, but I don't know for sure. And we do get a pretty cool flashback scene to when things first started and everything, which that's not spoiling anything. It was in the trailers and everything. I thought that was had a really good opening, just like the first one had a really good opening as well. And I was afraid that this one was going to feel stale and everything, and like it wouldn't feel as intense and stuff as the first movie did, because I mean, once you see the first one you kind of know what to expect. But even though it was still more of the same from the first one, they did it where it worked really well and everything. It took everything that was great about the first one and kept it at the same level. They didn't try to outdo themselves like a lot of sequels do, where they try to go bigger and all that. It still felt like this little small contained movie that honestly the marketing and stuff has made it feel like it's a lot bigger than it is, but when you watch the movie it feels like this small little contained story like the first movie was. And I love that about it and everything. They didn't overdo it showing the aliens and stuff like I was afraid they were going to. And the CGI in here is still not like super great, but you can tell the movie has a bigger budget than the first one, and they actually do look a whole lot better than they did in the first and everything. I think they did a really good job just expanding the story and everything from the first one, and it leads up to a really decent ending that I think we could very well get a third movie. I actually really hope we do now. At least maybe make one more, make it a trilogy if nothing else. But I could see this as maybe one that becomes a franchise. I mean, as good as the first one was, I just hope that if John Krasinski is doing it, he knows what he's doing and has his stuff planned out and everything, because he really did a good job with this movie and everything. I think he's a really great director, and I'd love to see his other movies that he's directed. I know he's done at least one or two other ones before A Quiet Place, so I'm going to eventually try to get around to watching those. And he was one of those actors that I never really took seriously or really cared too much about. I knew he was on The Office, which I haven't really watched much of that, but I have nothing against him or anything, but I just never really expected him to be the type of actor that could do a movie like A Quiet Place and write and direct it and stuff. You just did a really great job. And once again, this is a PG-13 horror movie that's really effective and everything. It uses the atmosphere to make it work. And there were a few parts when I was in the theater and stuff, I legit jumped and stuff because it really caught me off guard and stuff. Even though I was expecting it, it still worked, and like it didn't over rely on jump scares like the Conjuring movies do. And I just really enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I think it's a really great movie, really good start to the summer movie season, and probably the best movie I've seen at the movie theater in a long time, or one of the best. I can't say it is the best in a long time, but it's definitely one of them. This one and the other movie I went to see, which I'll be reviewing that later today. But today was the best time I've had at the movies in a really long time, probably since Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Just really enjoyed it, and there wasn't a whole bunch of people in the room, but it was nice just getting to go see this movie and there being people in there and stuff, because I've gone to a few movies over the last year and stuff where there's nobody in the room at all, and this was one of the first times that there was quite a few people in there and stuff, so I thought that was kind of cool too. And it is a really entertaining movie. I definitely would recommend trying to see it in the theater if you can, because it is a really great movie and everything. If you weren't a fan of the first one though, you probably wouldn't enjoy this one either, but if you love the first one and you're eerie about it, I definitely would say give it a shot, because I was really eerie about it too, and while everybody else was super hyped for it over the last year, I was just like, I don't really think this needs a sequel, but it turned out to be really, really great, and I'm not going to underestimate John Krasinski again on any of the movies in this franchise if they do continue it and everything. In fact, my expectations are probably going to be pretty high for a third one if they do make it. And Marco Beltrami's score was really good in this. It once again just fit the tone of the movie really well, and the cinematography was excellent, even better than the first one. It's a really, really well made movie and really great sequel and everything. I think it deserves its spot among the best horror sequels of all time and everything. So I think it will be considered one of the best as time goes by and everything, unless they do something in the third one that totally ruins the ending of this one or something, but I really don't think that there's any way that they could really do that. But so yeah, I'd say I'd give A Quiet Place Part 2 an 8 out of 10, the same that I gave the first one, because I think it's about on the same level as great as the first. Everything. I don't know that I could say I like it more than the first one, but it is a really, really, really great sequel and everything to the first movie, which I absolutely loved. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of A Quiet Place Part 2, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.